do see a downtrend in hiring junior, and slowly it's eating into low-level of middle-level engineer, and it will be also keep increasing to the full layer of mid-level engineer in Vietnam in the near future. So it's the sad truth.
What's really happening in the IT hiring market in Vietnam?
Imagine that you now having an agent that working just like a junior, and if you are a business owner, what will you choose? You don't have other option, right?
That's interesting.
We also want to help the junior or the youngster to grow, and I think the first strength that they can rely on is so those are the kind of skill that in this revolution will achieve a lot of success and a lot of benefit.
But that's almost impossible for majority of the developers. Which will be the top 3 IT roles will cease to exist?
The first thing is a manual QA tester. The second one is there are quite new things happening.
Can you walk us through some of those roles?
So the very first come to mind is
So do you think will these newly emerged opportunities last for a long time, or those are just a boom?
Okay. The next generation, what do they need to do? What do they need to learn? I do think that if there's one message that we should focus on nowadays with this AI revolution, it is to...
Hi everyone, welcome to the interview series by ITviec about AI and data. I'm Naoto Ijima, CEO of ITviec. This series is all about helping you advance your tech career by learning from the real journeys, challenges, and down-to-earth insights of the top tech leaders in Vietnam. In the previous episode, we talked about AI hype and how leaders drive impact with Mr. Nguyen, CTO and co-founder of Neurond Software. And today, we want to focus more on individual career development in AI era. And our topic is AI may be taking away jobs, but also creating more in the process. To explore these ideas, we invited here Dr. Song Nguyen, CEO and co-founder of Neurond AI, a company that drives Vietnam's AI revolution. He's also a top expert, AI expert, and Forbes Tech Council member. Hi, Dr. Song. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, very nice to see you.
Dr. Song is our founder and the CEO of Neurond AI, and then also the COO of the Neurond Software. So can you tell us more about yourself and your work at Neurond AI and your academic background?
So the story starts a little bit back when I finished my undergraduate in Vietnam in IT. And then I was lucky enough that I got scholarship to go to United States to do my master and PhD in computer science. And my major at that time is artificial intelligence. After that, I did my postdoc research. Normally, when people go through that career, they will become professor or get into the academia, ivory tower environment. But I was introduced to Neurond Software at that time in Vietnam. So after the talk to the founders, I decided that I will give it a try. So after a short time, I flew my whole family back to Vietnam and started the journey of being an entrepreneur and working in a software industry. From that time, I started with Neurond Software. So mostly the company provide software services. But during that time, I also teach at some university. And my observation is that I see some students, they are really smart. And I can say they're even smarter than myself. And I talked to my other co-founder that, Okay, this is a very interesting environment for people and for students to grow, and they are also very bright. So we can see that AI would be the future. So let's do something about that. So we started to form the teams to do more research and more work in data and AI, and eventually we created Neurond AI, and so far it's growing very well.
So you joined to the Orient Software, and then Neurond AI is the different entity, right?
Yep.
So what is the main objective of Neurond AI? Let's say kind of the R&D center for Orient Software, or purely delivering the AI service for outside companies or something?
Okay, that's a very good question. Orient software by itself is software services. So, as you know, the software industry has been there for a long time, and it already set up the industry standard to fulfill the need for like software development. But with the advancement of AI, we do see that that's a huge opportunity because given the software, it will create a lot of data. And at the end of the cycle, what will we do with that what data? It's very obvious that we need to leverage that. And AI is the very next natural step for us to step in. So that is the most important goal of Neurond AI is to really leveraging the data and the cycle of software development so that it completes the full cycle. Imagine that a client coming in with some software need and we build the software for them. And over time, with the operation, they will accumulate a lot of business and a lot of data. And from that data, we can use AI to really digging in about knowledge about some unique IP, from that, and then we will put it back into software, and it become a cycle that keep growing. So that is the main goal of Neurond AI.
Oh, that's fascinating. So when did you establish the Neurond AI?
Around 4 years ago.
4 years ago, so the before the ChatGPT.
Exactly. So we like on paper it's only 4 years, but we actually started like 7 years ago already. It's just like we started on the paper is from 4 years ago. So that is exactly from that time. There's not so much of Gen AI hype or something along that line. But we do have quite a lot of different projects using traditional or classical machine learning method to solve problems, and they are very interesting. And it's not just about AI, but also a very important pillar is the data that we see is also a very important and potential area that we see a lot of growth recently.
Okay, so thank you for sharing. Recently, we've seen the headlines that are saying AI is replacing the human jobs, and also ITviec just conduct the survey, and then that survey shows a 7% drop in junior and middle hiring demand in second half of 2025 compared to the first half of 2025. And 24.7% of companies cited the productivity gain from AI implementations is the reason for freeze hiring or some kind of downsizing. On the other hand, as someone who worked in the tech space for a long time, I can't fully agree with the statement that AI will replace completely the human jobs or something. So today I want to cut through the noise and get the real story about this topic. So Dr. Song, from your experience, what's really happening in the IT hiring market in Vietnam?
So the short answer is yes, we do see a downtrend in hiring junior, and slowly it's eating into low level of middle level engineer in the IT industry in Vietnam, and it will be also keep increasing to the full layer of mid-level engineer in Vietnam in the near future. That is also what I observed just similar to your observation. And this is not just about Vietnam, but I think it's an international trend. It already happened and it will keep happening with that trend in the whole world. So it's the sad truth. But I think we need to also look back from a different angle because I do think that to solve a problem, the very first thing is that you need to admit that there's a problem because there are still some people that denying this fact that is changing the industry. So I think it's good if we can step back and look it from the angle of a business owner. Imagine that you are in need of some kind of software or some kind of software development services that you need to hire a team to doing it. And before there's some kind of implicit agreement between the employer and the employee that they would take their junior to come in, and in turn the junior will has the opportunity to learn even though at that time they don't have much of experience of a lot of value that to bring in into the company, but that is the implicit agreement between the two. But now there's a revolution of AI that just coming in, and it just imagine that you now having an agent that working just like a junior, and if you are a business owner, what will you choose? You don't have other option, right? You need to choose the best option for your business, and otherwise your competitor will do that and they will have competitive edge and you will lose in the competition. But also if we look from the angle of a junior developer, if we still active enough and we prepare well for this revolution that's happening, I do think that they also have a lot of potential to do great thing as well, not just the bad things that happening. That
Okay, that's interesting. It's clearly they do not have much experience. They have other from on the other hand, they have some kind of strengths or advantage. So what kind of strengths or advantage that they can perform, that they can bring to the table?
okay. I did think about this as well because we also in this business and we also want to help the junior or the youngster to grow. And I think the first strength that they can rely on is their, we call it beginner's eyes curiosity. It's so sad that like the people like my generation, when we're getting older, we stop asking questions, we stop looking at the problem and ask why do we need to do that. We stop looking at it as a newcomer, and that eliminate a lot of opportunity. And being a junior, you come in and you ask why do we need to do that, and should we do something else? That is a very valuable thing, and it could help us reshape the working flow or even the business, and that could create a lot of value. That's the first thing. The second thing is that my observation with the new junior, the youngster, is that they are very like early adopter of technology, and especially AI. They can use many tools very well, and they can also kind of immerse themselves in those things easily. And also because they were into that community, into that new things happening, they can get the feedback very fast and easily when they do something. That's also a very important, because nowadays everything we do, we need to do it very fast and get feedback and change it and do it again and keep the loop. And because they can get the feedback directly and very fast from the community with their strength, that become one unique point that they can use and leverage, I think.
Okay, so maybe this is not a question for not just talking about the junior. So recently, what skills are becoming more essential for developers and other IT professionals in the age of AI?
Let me it's better for me to give you two examples of the one that we will call the winner in this AI revolution that I observed. There would be two types of people in this new era. One is that we call it the nerd.
Nerd.
The nerd, okay, which mean before we call the really technical person that they really deep into one technical area. Those are the people, the first set of people that gain a lot from this revolution. An example is that just like a couple days ago, we got the news from Meta that they offer a benefit package for an AI researcher,
Yeah.
like $250 million US dollar. That's a lot for a single person, for one talent. Imagine what will happen. So those are the kind of skill that in this revolution will achieve a lot of success and a lot of benefit. The one that going very deep, very unique into a specific area. The other time, I'm calling them the domain expert. For example, around 3 months ago, I got a client. So he's actually a doctor, and what he asked for is that he's working with patients every day, and every single time they will come in and they talk to the patient and they have a very long conversation. But then at the end of that, he will need to fill in the report about what is the problem, what he's thinking, and back and forth. So what he asking is that can we create some kind of AI application for automatically recording those things and put it into the form. So those are the very obvious problem, and it's very valuable and practical problem that we will see from the domain expert, like the doctor, like that. Then those are the people that I feel that they will have a very big opportunity, because with this AI revolution, they themselves can create a prototype or an MVP easily, at least to showcase their idea, and from there they can easily call funding and stuff, and build the technical team to do stuff. So those are the two type of people that immediately I can see that they will receive a lot of benefit out of this revolution.
So let's say one side is you raised the example that who get the $200 million as a salary or something, but that's almost impossible for majority of the developers. And then another side is you are talking about domain expert. How about the other peoples
I
that
see.
who have some technical skill, but not really good in communications or something? Any thoughts about that idea?
Okay, that's also, I think I like that question. So the example of $250 million is an extreme example, but let me give you a real example, like a more, like a Vietnamese example. So in our company, I have a technical leader or technical manager that recently he came to me and he asked me to approve for a course. And I asked, what is it about the course? He say, in this course, it's more about interview preparation in .NET. And I say, what? Are you trying to leave the company and trying to prepare your interview? Just kidding. But I mean, and he explained to me that the reason he want to buy this course is out of 100 questions inside that set of interview question that in that course, there's around 10 questions that very unique, and he cannot find that knowledge anywhere outside, because those are the real experience knowledge. And that's why he wants that course. So why do I give out that example? The reason is that that is the kind of normal, I would say, or very typical senior engineer that will be successful in this area. The one that will go much deeper, dig much deeper into the knowledge to become very strong at very narrow area, but also very valuable. Because imagine that the large language model, the Gen AI, at the end of the day, was trained by the data. It will shine on a very specific or very rare set of data, and those are the value that an engineer can bring themselves in. That is an example that I feel like he will be very successful in his career. Go much deeper.
So the very important thing is to understand the context or knowledge only in the company or only in some certain domain. So pursuing those kind of hidden knowledge or something, becoming much more important.
And I think that's also a very interesting topic in the future about domain knowledge. At the end of the day, is a model was trained based on the data, and it's also need to use the knowledge that already available. But there's also a big set of knowledge that's not available publicly. That is the strength that there's no way that company will easily give it out to OpenAI or Anthropic or many other large language model creator for those information.
If you could give 3 pieces of advice to junior tech professionals, what would they be?
Okay, only 3.
Yeah, only
Yeah,
more,
that's
more,
actually
fine.
yeah. Actually, we can have a lot of advices, but if we say 3, then the first thing is that don't go against the revolution, embrace it, work alongside with the Gen AI or the large language model, the code generation tools that happening, and it's keep growing very well. It become very, very good quality over time. Talk to the machine every day. The second thing that we should focus on is ship small but share loud. One problem, especially with the Vietnamese IT developer, is that they are pretty shy when they're talking about their achievement. But if we can get over that and we can show that to the public, you will gain a lot, because it's not just about marketing yourself, but also you will get feedback from the public about how did you do that? Is there any potential? Or even you can create some very useful product out of that. You need to let people know that you're good at something. Even though it's a small project, that's fine. But as long as you finish it and you do it from beginning to the end, you know the full cycle, that would be a very good strength. And the third one is that to become good at one, at least 1 or 2 or 3 if you can, but very deep, very fundamental, and become an expert in that area, because there's so many things that you can learn nowadays if you open YouTube. So at least anchor yourself with one area that you feel so passionate about, or you have a lot of strength inside that domain. Then you will become much more valuable, other than you just jumping around. Then at the end of the day, it's very difficult to become an expert in any area. So 3 things: embrace the technology, ship and showcase it to the public, and also anchor yourself with some specific domain to become the domain expert.
Sounds great and interesting for me. So let's say being passionate about some specific field. Is it should be kind of technical stack, or it can be business domain or non-technical aspect too?
Oh, okay. Talking about passionate. So I think I don't want to overuse the word passionate because for me, I do think that we need to leverage on our own strength. Yes, if our strength also accidentally our passion, that's the best thing. But if not, it's still okay. Let's get started with the thing that you good at. And it doesn't need to be on the technical side, but also in the business side. And actually, over time, I do feel like the business side would be the gold mine for everyone should look into. to focus their strength and learn more on that side. So the passionate here, what I mean is that starting with anything that you're good at. If that is your passion, that's the best thing. If not, over time you will get passion from the thing that you're doing very well. That's my.
We've just discussed how AI is reshaping the hiring trends especially for the junior and lower middle level. But it's not just about the jobs. It is not about the job loss. So AI is also creating the new types of demand. But it's not really just the core AI. So I believe there are some new types of demand related to the AI. So for the next topic, I want to explore the rise of what we call is applied AI talent. So it would be professionals who may not build the models itself from the scratch, but who know how to use AI to transform the workflows or services or products. So let's break down this topic.
I do see that there's a new trend, just like you say, about applied AI talents. And let me give you an example. So from my time when I doing my PhD in USA, I was in a project work. So it was funded from the government. So what they do is that it's the collaboration between the psychology department and the computer science department. And I'm on the AI team, and there's another psychology team, and we're working together on a project that use AI to predict the mood of the person, or the feeling or psychology of a person based on like the pose, or based on the sweating of your skin, and based on the heart rate, and based on those indications that as like if you wear a device and it can monitor those signal, it could predict how the person feeling and psychology related. And inside that, I'm acting just like an applied AI specialist in that area, because the person in psychology, they want to do that, but they don't have the expertise in machine learning to do that kind of modeling and prediction. While I do have it, but I have nothing. I know nothing about psychology. So that's why we need to work together as one team. But now, when we're talking about applied AI talent, that is the position that combine both. That is the kind of new job that we will see, and even OpenAI, Anthropic, or even us also looking at, is that the kind of talent that can see the problem, know what's happening, and put the current capability of AI and solve that domain specific problem. Look around. There's so many problems that we still haven't solved. And it's just because that doing that before doing that need a lot of software engineering skill, need a lot of data engineering skill, need a lot of AI skill. But nowadays, because it's so easy, then you just need to combine them and finish at least, I would say, the MVP. Or if you're good enough, you can create some decent application. And those are the cases that we see more and more and every day. And if we be mindful about that, a lot of opportunity also arising around that applied AI talent positions.
Oh, that's true. So you raised some examples already, but let's say in your company, in your let's say Neurond AI or Orient Software, in your company specifically, is there any jobs or roles can be called as applied AI positions?
So we don't call it an AI talent, but the expectation that we're having right now for almost all of the member in the company is that they need to be an AI first employee. What does it mean by AI first? Is that you need to think and try to leverage the power of AI before doing it by yourself. Because If not, the performance or the productivity will not be competitive as our competitor. So that become a kind of the standard expectation for all position in our company. They will look for what they can optimize and how they can do it in a better way. We don't expect them to really understand so much in the AI. We do want them to learn as much as they can about AI. But we are lucky because we also an AI company. So we have a lot of people and we have a lot of training, and we encourage even the back office or the sales or the marketing team also join those training so that they get more knowledge out of that. And from there, they can the very first step is asking the question, can I do this, can I do that? They can come to the AI engineer, and then that is the starting journey. Because the problem is, before they don't even ask those questions, they just finish the job which was done like that years ago. So never ask why or should we improve that. So that is the point.
For that kind of applied AI roles, so what kind of skills or expertise will be required? So let's say for developers, is still the coding essential, or other capabilities becoming more important?
Okay, let's talk about the developer first. So I think for the developer, the coding skill is still very important because at the end of the day, if you are a good developer, you will ask a better question. You will know what direction to guide the model to answer. You will know the output to validate the output better. So I think still the senior will be the one that benefits most from this revolution. But if we talk in a broader set, because not just about developer, but also tester, business intelligence, business analyst, or all different kind of job, I think those are fundamental skill set like orchestration, the ability to self learning and kind of looking at different angle of the problem to solve it and leverage the AI, or also about the security. See if is there any potential risk there, because nowadays we can be easily forgetting about the danger of data privacy. If we leak those information, a company can get bankrupt if they're not careful enough with those things. So that's why I do see that also becoming very important. But anyway, those are the soft skills that been very necessary for anyone to be successful in IT. I think majority of them will be still very valuable, like a self-learning, being very proactive, agile mindset. Those are, and teamwork, coordination still be the key for being successful in this era.
Okay, by the way, so you said that coding is still essential, but let's say code will be generated by AI, and then it's already,
Yeah.
and then it's happening. But what is the reason that you still say the coding for review or something? You still say that the coding is essential for the developers.
Okay, good question. So I think because we work with many different customers at different level, there are some kind of some cases that the product is pretty simple and is not affecting a lot of end user. But for some cases, we work for clients that need a very sophisticated problem with a large set of user, and also need a very high expectation about the performance and about the availability. And at least for those cases, still we haven't seen at least for now, the LLM to be able to fulfill that demand yet. And our prediction is that in the next 2 years, is still not yet reaching that level. And because you imagine that for a company that the software system, if they stop running for like 10 minutes, it costs millions of dollars. So it would be very crucial for having a senior or a principal engineer to knowing what needs to be coded and making sure the quality is there is still very important. So that's why, like at least in our company, we still hiring a lot of from upper mid level to senior nowadays because it reduced the job on one side for junior, but also it create a lot of new expectation or new things happening that the senior plus an AI can do. So that opened up new business opportunity, and that is also what we are seeing nowadays.
For non-AI professionals or young tech talents, so what's the best way to grow into an applied AI career?
Okay, for the non-tech people, I think the very first and the most the easiest way is to start looking into this set of tools that are available nowadays with AI. You don't need to go very deep, but at least you know what it can do. You know what's the limitation, and try to solve at least one real business problem, the real pain point that's happening, and apply that to fix some problem. That would give you a very good understanding of the full cycle of a product or something that you start and you finish, and some difficulty that you will not know if you don't really doing it. And by doing that, and after that, share it in the public and get the feedback and keep iterating it, and it just get better over time. And the person can really practice that, I think, has a lot of opportunity, just like the apply AI talent. That is the apply AI talents that we are talking about, is when they have their own domain knowledge, even though they are non-tech, but they know somehow, at some level, and they put them together to create a product and keep iterating over time. And I would say technical thing is not that difficult. If you spend enough time, you will be good at it. I think, just my very personal opinion.
AI is also creating new roles in the IT and software development ecosystem that very existed or were completely unheard of 5 years ago. So, like AI prompt engineers, or model auditors, or AI ops engineers. In that terms, I want to know about what are the new types of core AI experts that are emerging that no one had ever heard of 5 years ago. Can you walk us through some of those roles?
Sure. There are quite new things happening recently with this kind of AI emerging capability. So the very first come to mind position that I feel it never exists before is model fine tuning. So large language model fine tuning, because as you can see now, before it's just a testing to see what is the limit of a large language model when they put all the information of the world inside that and put all of the computation that they can possibly have in it, and it creates some breakthrough, and it just keeps scaling and scaling over time. But because we are putting so many information, it creates noise in that set of information. So that is when you need someone that really knowing very deeply about the fundamental of large language model structures, which is the neural nets inside that, and also the understanding about the data that it will be training on. And because it's so big and so many aspects, we need people that can really navigate it in a right direction Otherwise, the model will converge into some target that we don't want it to. Because at the end of the day, we want the model to have at least the same goal of people is to become useful, to answer with fact and with correct information as much as possible. The second type of work that I also see is synthetic data engineer. So imagine that as around 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, they already scrap all information in the world and put it into the large language model. But, so what can they do next after that? The only answer is synthetic data. From now on, they need to rely on a lot of synthetic data nowadays. So those are the very interesting job that I never seen before, but it's happening. And also just like a prompt engineer, I still remember the time that ChatGPT, GPT-3, when they come out, and then there are quite a lot of company hiring prompt engineer positions. Nowadays, it's less like that because the model is smart enough so that it can understand the intent of the prompt. But still, we need to be smart enough to have a good prompt. So that kind of prompt engineer, we still see it nowadays, but not as popular as before.
Simply saying, why do these roles exist? I mean, what are their purpose and mission in a company or in a software development lifecycle?
The purpose of this job is just to help the Gen AI or the large language model to become smarter, to become useful, to become workable for some specific problem. So all of those from prompt engineer is to guide the model to answer correctly what we want, because it has so many things inside. It can answer so many random things. So we need a prompt engineer to ask the right question. We need fine tuning to really fine tune the model so that it has the same goal and the same expectation like what we human expecting. We need the synthetic data engineer to prepare even more data to make the model even smarter to serve our need. So I think at the end of the day, all of those roles is to help facilitate, to make the AI become smarter.
Since these AI roles have only emerged in the 3 to 5 years ago, I'm not really familiar with those positions. So what hiring trends and demographic patterns are you seeing for that kind of specific hiring positions hiring?
So for those positions, we see a lot. For example, the large language model fine tuning or data synthetic, we see the demographic still mostly in the US, and recently the China also doing like growing very well in this area. But prompt engineer, we see it almost everywhere because that's on the application side. It's very interesting that nowadays the most proprietary large language model or closed source model were from the US, and the majority of open source large language model was coming from China, which is a very interesting trend that we see. And they're all growing very fast and becoming much smarter in a very fast pace.
In the past, China is more closed community.
Exactly.
But in terms of the AI models, I do believe there is a reason. So that's why they are doing so. So basically, the model from China is open source for everyone. So everyone can use, everyone can touch. So, but on the other hand, the US models, maybe because of the competition or something, they were open source in the press, but maybe only Meta is based on the open source. But what is the reason that that situation is happening?
I think so. This is a very interesting effect that we observe, is that China become the force at moving the open source, the freedom of everyone has the knowledge and apply AI, and the US become more close. So I think there's several reasons. First, it's very costly for them to build a model like that. It costs multi-billion dollars just to build a model or something like that. And they need to regain the capital that they have spent. That's the first reason. The second reason that those companies they don't open source is that they fear that China will catch up, and because they are kind of considering the somehow like an enemy of each other, so they're afraid that China will take it and become better than the U.S. So that also they also have some kind of regulation about restriction of like a chip and also the model as well. So those are the two main reasons that I think the many company in the U.S. going for the closed source model, except for Meta, but they didn't do it very well recently with their recent model. On the other hand, with the China side, they practically open source everything. You can do whatever it is. So the question is, why do they do that, right? Because they invested a lot in that. So my guess, my guess is that the first reason is because they many of those models actually based from a Lamar model from Meta, and that is open source. And if you base on that, you need to also open source that. That's one reason, but not all the reasons.
Makes sense.
The other reason is that if you open source that, because we all know that the U.S. they restrict the chip, strong chip to them, to China, which means China couldn't have the edge in computation. So they need to be smart in having a right data. They need to be smart in how to train it in an effective way. And by open sourcing it to everyone in the world, they will get a lot of feedback. And also, many companies in the US will run those model on a very cutting edge model. And in turn, those companies are not limited with the GPU. And China can use those things, those feedback. And also, for example, Hugging Face. There's no limit in the GPU that Hugging Face can use. And by open sourcing all of those things, China can leverage on that as well. And more importantly, because they think that they are really good at executing, like the Chinese people when they go out and they talk, and the most like the thing that they proud most about themselves is their execution. They say, okay, the American people, you guys are very good at fundamental thing. You are really good at creating or initiating problem, but about implementation, we Chinese is the best. So that's why they confident that even though they open source everything, there would be no one in the world that can compete with them about the speed, about the scale, and about the amount of money or effort that they can put in. So that is also one reason that they will just give it out. But at the end of the day, the most beneficial side is themselves.
That's interesting. So let's back to the first questions. We talked about the emerging jobs. So you said that those jobs are very much popular in US and China. How about Vietnam?
So in Vietnam, I feel very optimistic actually, because I know the community and kind of there's a community about AI and stuff related, and I do see that there's a very good trend that the young engineer or AI engineer they starting to step into these area of like fine tuning the model, because thanks to Meta and China model, there are new small models. It's not as big at that we can really work on that and fine tune those things. And we do see that there are quite some company or groups that starting to do this kind of work, and that is a trend that I feel that it will just getting more and more, because at the end of the day, my gut feeling is that every nation or every business will have their own model, will have their own, we call it chatbot or assistant, that working alongside and specifically for that business. So that comes with the need of a customized model or a smaller version of the model that fit to the business, or that's for Vietnam, for example. For our own, like Neurond AI, we do have quite some research right now about how to do this kind of fine tuning, because if it become a norm, just like 20 years ago, no one think that a company will need a website. But nowadays, basically every single company will have a website. So my imagination is that it would be the same thing with AI. In the next 3-5 years, every single company will have their own model, will have their own assistant. And at that time, there's like exponential need of apply AI engineer or AI related position for those things. So that's why we as in Neurond AI, we are starting to invest a lot in fine tuning the model, in applying it into multiple areas based on the need of the client, and create some kind of domain business specialist so that we can leverage on.
At the Neuron AI, so you guys are investing in those fields. What specific qualities or experience do you prioritize when hiring those positions?
This is a tough question that I've been asking for myself, because when we look for talent, the truth is that right now in Vietnam, not so many AI engineer got that experience. So what we can do is that we need to leverage on the raw talent, especially the really smart graduate that graduating from the university every year, and we focus on their capability of learning new things, their skill of putting things together very quickly and iterated. And also those new talent, they are very adaptive with the new trend that's happening. So those are the talents that we are looking for right now, even though that we really want to get the people with experience with large language model fine tuning and all of those related tasks, but it's not so much available in the market right now.
So as AI rapidly enhance its intelligence, or will one month before the new types of jobs appeared in the world or something. So do you think that will these newly emerged opportunities last for a long time, or those are just a boom?
Okay. I think those positions, because when Gen AI started, people having the attitude that let's sit down and wait and see what's happening. And until now, there's a pretty kind of agreement between different industry and different leaders that it's the real thing. It's not a bubble anymore, like a dot-com bubble. And because it's the real thing, it will last for a long time. For example, those synthetic data engineering, at the end of the day, we all need good data to be able to make the AI smarter.
And then so far, so we focused on how the roles and the talent expectation are changing. The change is not just for the individuals. Companies and organizations themselves need to evolve too. So for the next sessions, I'd like to explore how your organization has actually adapted from workflows to team structure and to internal culture too. So what are some specific change you made in your company in response to the rise of AI?
With the rise of AI, we did fundamentally change in the way that we recruit or expect people to work. An example is that one of the most important OKR that we are setting this year is to really leveraging AI for productivity improvement. To be able to do that, we've been doing a lot of training, and it's the most important training that I think we have done is a mindset training, because we are having a fundamental shift in the way that we're thinking. So now it's more like an AI first mindset that people need to have when they finish their work. And also on the hiring side, the new candidate, when we do the interview, we also expect them to have the AI first mindset, where they apply new technology, new tool, AI, to become much more efficient over the work. There's also one interesting thing that I observe out of this from AI is that it also comes with the downside as well, is that we see a lot of cheating in the interview. Yes, especially in the developer.
Interview or
During the interview process, because like right now there's a lot of tools out there that when people do online interview, they can literally has an assistant that can answer as the top level of those any kind of question. So that's why we nowadays we decided that every interview, it always need to be having at least one on-site interview. We cannot do like online interview for everything. So that is also one interesting, we call it downside of AI, is that it comes with a lot of cheating. Yeah.
that's funny, but they're likely to happen.
Yeah,
and needs
yeah,
to
that's
happen.
fine. Yeah, we cope with that.
Okay, so can you share a concrete example of a team that had to change the way they work, or even a project that was launched?
We share about successful project. That's a lot, but let me share about an unsuccessful project.
Yeah, that's
that could be interesting that we all can learn from. So actually, it's an AI project, but it also failed because of AI. So the story is like this: we have a client that they're in fintech area, and they have a lot of end user, like a lot. And the business process is that they will have the end user to use the phone to take the picture of financial document, like a receipt, like a bank statement, or a payments document. And they take a picture and send it over to our client. And the goal is just very simple. All of those documents that were scanned and sent it over to our client, we will do document intelligence to extract all the information out. There are around, so they do the statistics. So there are around 50 categories of type of document that sending in. And the initial goal is that as long as you can extract information in the top 10 most popular type of documents with the accuracy more than 90%, then we're good. We have a successful project. So I commit with the client, the CTO of the client, that, okay, let's do this, and we'll work on this. The reason is that we've been working on this kind of our document intelligence for a very long time, much longer than Gen AI. And we use many typical or classical machine learning method, like OCR, name entity recognition, all of those to extract the information out. And we are very confident about our work. And we did at that time do some comparison with the LLM capability at that time to do the document extraction, and we are much better. Okay, so I talked to the CTO of the client, like, okay, let our team do this. So we start to digging in and start working on that, working very hard. And after several months, we have the demo. And at the demo, we were able to achieve 92% accurate on that data. And everyone is happy. We're happy, the client is happy, and we are preparing to deploy it for production and be used by the client. But during that time, the large language model also growing very fast, and it becoming much smarter. And before we decide to put it on production, the custom solution that we had, we decided, let's give it a try to use the cutting edge LLM at that time. And we give it a try by using the LLM to do the extraction. And the accuracy is 95%. 95%.
Yeah, incredible.
Incredible. And our best method at that time is around 92%. So what can we do? We can only accept that, okay, we need to scrap all of the work that we have done all those time and use the cutting edge solution. So when we do the reflection, and I also have a talk to the client with the CTO, the client, about what did we do, what lesson we learned out of that. We did the scoping well, we did the planning well, the expectation is clear enough, but the only thing that we didn't expect is the speed of improvement of AI. We didn't expect that during that time, even though we meet our expectation or exceeded 92% over 90 that we expect, but still it's not as good as the cutting edge LLM, and it's just become cheaper and faster and it just become better over time. So we say, okay, so this is a very bitter lesson that for every single technology project that we do, we need to also consider the pace of progress, of advancement in new tools, in new technologies that's happening.
Is that the failure? You recognize that is the failure project.
It's failed because we didn't have a good prediction of another methodology that we could have used. So if we good enough, we would say, okay, right now the large language model has around 60%, but with this space, if we can project it, it would reach 95% during the time by the time that we are finished our work. Then we don't need to waste a lot of time. But on the other hand, we learn a lot from this. So we will never forget this lesson. Every single time that we do new thing, we will sit down and first to see that is there any chance that with this advancement, it will become much faster than what we expect. Then we need to do something else, or we need to prepare for that.
So not just for the project story, so during these kind of transitions in your company, in your project, so have you faced any resistance or challenge from your employees? And then how did you manage that as a leader?
I think in every revolution there's always a resistance. It always happening, and same as in our company. Lucky enough, we are technology company, so the resistance is less, but we still have it. I can feel it. Is that first is the fear that they will be replaced. The second is that they will get less benefit. But what we do is that we decided to sit down together and talk about that. The only way to get through this is to be open about what are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of those things? And what is the different angle that we can put into? So what we try to show the employee is that the goal here is not to replace a person. The goal here is to become more efficient, to become more competitive in the market. And in turn, it can create a lot of revenue if they can improve the performance and the productivity. The company will do better, and in turn, they will have a better job and a better benefit package. So that is, at the end of the day, it's the mindset. If we flip it and look it on the opportunity side, there's a lot of potential things that could be happening, and we can get benefit out of that.
Do you have any plans to further invest in helping your teams adapt to AI?
I think it's not just our company, but every single company nowadays will need to go through that. It's a never-ending loop of keep improving. It's starting from training from the top to the bottom, like from the C-level to the manager to the leader and to the employee, from the mindset, from the knowledge, from the capability to utilize on different tools that are available. Also, we need to give them the tools, because in some cases it's pretty costly, like some subscription for code generation. It's okay for a team of 5, 10, but how about 100 people or 500 people? That's quite some amount of money, but we did the calculation and it's worthwhile to do that kind of investment. And my thinking is that every single company will need to keep doing this. We cannot stop. If we stop, we cannot compete in this very competitive market. We even go further than that. We create our own chatbot, so we call it Neuron Assistant, that has the capability of all the different top large language model. So we have that kind of assistant to make sure that all of our team member has access to the most cutting edge technology, and also they have like access to cursor and other tools, so that we make sure they have the tools to do the job well.
Yeah, that sounds great. So looking ahead 1 to 2 years, how do you see your company's structure or culture continuing to change as AI becomes more deeply integrated into your company or into the software development life cycle?
Yeah, I think in the future, the trend would be every company will become more like a flat organization. There would be less hierarchical layer in the company, because every single person, when they co-working with AI, they will become very versatile. Like they can do so many things. And back-end engineer not just limited to that anymore, but they can do front-end and do business analyst and all of those things. And with that, I think people will become more, would be two directions. Like one is a generalist, that you become more well-rounded, you do more things and you combine different tools to finish the job. You are not limited to your own area like before, but you need to be connected and working with multi-discipline at one time to finish the work, while the organization in the company will become very flat, and every team will be autonomous team and work.
Let's talk about the prediction.
Okay.
So it is a common fact that AI technology mature increasing incredibly first. So in the context of the IT jobs, IT job market and AI learning abilities, so what is your prediction on which will be the top 3 IT roles will cease to exist in the next 18 or 24 months, and which will never be replaced, and then which will emerge?
Prediction is the last thing that I want to do, because I did quite some prediction, especially when I come and visit our client. They usually ask like, what is my prediction about AI? How good the AI model will become in the next year? And usually my prediction is wrong because I underestimate the speed of AI, even though that I'm an AI optimist, not pessimist. But still, I underestimate how fast it is or how fast it could improve the situation. But still, getting back to your question, I think for the 3 jobs that will be vanished, that will kind of gradually, not vanishing immediately, but gradually vanishing is, I think the first thing is a manual QA tester, because nowadays we see that the AI agent can do it very well in a very high quality and very low cost. The second one is something like low-level help desk, IT help desk, but in a lower level, not high level. Because for general question, IT can answer you very in a very precise and very patient. It would answer you at any time. Okay, and the third one is the boilerplate front end engineer. Because as you can see, like recently there are a lot of new tools for front-end development, like V0. One of our team used that, and they figure out that the front-end work become like 90% less of the burden out of those things. So that is a very obvious change that you will see in the near future, like a year or 1.5 years or so. There would be new jobs that would have a lot of attention and will rise in this uh, economy, that is the software architect. Because imagine that now the computer can create different function and different module. So now the capability to put things together to make sure that it runs in an efficient way and make sure that every module work well together is also very important. The second job that I feel that would be very good in the coming time is data architect, because at the end of the day, even though people talk a lot about AI, but the origin of AI is data. Otherwise, garbage in, garbage out. That is my advisor's kind of saying all the time. Because if you don't have good data, AI cannot do anything. So, which means the data architect become more and more important to prepare the data, pre-processing the data, doing data manipulation or extraction or transform to really leverage the strength there. And the last one is sure the job that I just mentioned is about apply AI talent or apply AI engineer, that we'll see more and more people that leveraging that. So for the job that never exists before, I think, just again the prediction, take that with a grain of salt, but I think it could be agent architect.
Agent architect.
Yeah. So agent. So you heard, I bet that you heard a lot about agent nowadays, and I think the future is that there would be a lot of agent working alongside or working in parallel to finishing the work. Then it's very natural that you will need the people to create that agent, to coordinate those agents to work well together to fix the problem when something went wrong. So that is the first job that I think would be very interesting. The second job is, I don't know the name yet, but it would be something like the domain skill transposer, like knowledge to plug in broker, which mean, let me get an example that would be easier. For example, in this year 2025, every single bag or coffee bag exported to EU will need to have the compliance of deforestation free. So they want to avoid like deforestation from the coffee, but they have like a compliance document like 500 pages that you need to follow, and also there's a lot of steps involved inside that about checking the geolocation and all of those rules that you need to follow up. So imagine that you can turn that domain problem into one, we call it kind of an API endpoint that a person or a service that an exporter in Vietnam can just call it, and then it will read through all 500 pages and match it with the business problem and create the preparation and set up the step what they need to do, and also prepare for the document for the exporting. That is one kind of domain specific problem that we could solve. And those are, imagine that it will happen everywhere, in healthcare, in education, in logistics. There's a lot of problem like that. If we can encapsulate it into a one well-round problem and export it as one capability of large language model, then we just need to call it and ask it to finish it for us, and we can get the royalty fee on those service.
Which area of job categories or roles do you expect will experience the growing demand?
I think at least two areas that will have a lot of attention. The first one is anything related to build and run the intelligent or the model, the large language model, because nowadays over time it will keep improving and it will get better over time very fast. So then there's a lot of business domain and business problem that could be solved. And imagine that it's just happening, and the opportunity before is there's no even opportunity in those things. So now there's a possibility is there. So the job that really build and run the intelligence will be the first, we call it hot jobs in the future. The second one is also very, I think it's going to be getting a lot of attention, is compliance.
Compliance.
Compliance, yes.
Okay.
Because, for any large language model, the key is still the data. But the data is the heart of every single business, is their IP. It's very important that you can guardrail those information and get the benefit out of that. So I think that the job that relating to preparing the data, making sure that it comply with the authority as well. And Vietnam is having new laws about data privacy and all of those things. And also not just following out the rule, but also getting the benefit and comply with the regulation would be a very hot job, just like security that we're seeing a lot of attention recently.
Thank you so much, Dr. Song, for sharing such the very insightful. So I think that today's conversation gave us a clear guideline and the practice in the real world, and the picture of how AI is truly reshaping tech careers, including us. So before we close, so if you could leave our audience with one key message, so what is the key message could be?
So actually, this question, so I got the kind of similar question around 2 months ago. I did teach at a class like for small and medium business class for the business owner, like around from 10 billion to 100 billion revenue, Vietnam Dong revenue per year for those company. And many of them are not coming from technology company, like from logistics, from education, from e-commerce, and so on. And at the end of the class, I got a question from a lady. She's at her 60s, and she asked like a very similar idea, is that so for her generation she's okay, like it's already passed, so she doesn't worry about herself anymore, but for her son, the next generation, with this new, ever-changing and fast adapting with AI. Everything is so fast, every single week, every single day. What do they need to do? What do they need to learn? So I've been thinking that for quite a long time, because I need to do the same thing for my kids as well, because at the end of the day, they will all need to grow up and get into the labor market and to work. I do think that if there's one message that we should focus on nowadays with this AI revolution, it is to sharpening our skill of asking question.
Asking question.
Asking question.
What do you mean by that?
Exactly. Why do I say that? So if we look back around 30 years ago when internet comes out, and at that time, the revolution that the internet brings in is the revolution of information, right? Which means at that time, every single person in the world with internet can have access to all kind of information in the world. That before the internet, you need to go to the library, or if the library doesn't have it, they need to request it from another city and they need to send it back. It takes a lot of time. And in many cases, you don't have that information. And that is the change that the internet bringing in, is the information at the fingertip of every single person. And from that, we have Google that do the indexing and sharing the information of everyone, and they becoming the biggest company, one of the biggest company in the world. And we have Meta that connects people, give people the updates of about everyone in the world information. They also become the top company in the world. So now with AI, what do we have? I think the revolution that AI brings in is answers. So nowadays, basically, you have every answer in the world at your fingertip. As long as you can ask the right question, ask it in the right way, you will have the question. Which means if you can ask it in the right way, then you know that, okay, this is interesting. Can we do something to solve it? Why do we need to do this? Why we need to do that? Is there any way that we can improve this? Or is this the new thing that we can create to make things better? And because this is such a revolution and it's coming so fast, and not so many people prepare for that, this become a huge opportunity. And imagine that you have all answer in the world. Then it's just a matter of that you ask the right question and then you start building it.
Thank you. So what's an eye-opening stories and the future-facing conversation today. So we've covered everything from the very real disruptions AI is causing to the very real opportunity it's unlocking. Huge thank you for Dr. Song for joining us today and sharing your great insights and the vision. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And to all our listeners, keep learning and keep building the future of tech. This is the interview series by ITviec about AI and data. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.